Mm. Oh, and we are live. I think we are. Let me check how it's Facebook doing. Let's see. Yes. How are you, my dear?
I'm doing spectacular here
Oh,
in pretty purple
oh,
and green. I'm shiny and green. You can't see the green, but it's green.
it's turning green. You know what? It looks pinkish purple on this side too.
Hmm.
I like it. I like it. Well, my dear friends, and what a beautiful Tuesday. And I am just so excited to be here today because it's always a pleasure bringing amazing people that I meet throughout my life. And just recently in the last couple of months, I've met this beautiful lady. And Alara Sage brought like so much that inspiring and that seduction and I've been working on my feminine energetics for this past year, and it wasn't until I after I quit corporate that I could go deeper deeper into that essence, deeper into that intimacy. And oh my gosh, and you brought so much light, and I'm so proud of you, first of all, but I'm also grateful and appreciated of you. So today, I'm not going to take a long time introducing her because I want her to express the love and the desire that she has in this lifetime. And today we have the divine pleasure with you, Alara Sage, the Oracle of Wealth. My dear, tell everyone where you're from and who are you?
Well, originally I'm from Oregon. I haven't lived there in a very long time. Right now I live in Colorado with my boys. I've been a very nomadic individual. I've lived all over the world. When I was in my early 20s, I taught scuba diving, and so I traveled the world and taught scuba diving, and it was brilliant. And now I'm here in Colorado. And yes, I had this experience. It's so interesting we're having this conversation today because I had this experience 10 years ago that I would love to talk about because it came back around to be reflected today. And, you know, 10 years ago, I had, like, from the external, the life I had a really great husband. I had a beautiful house in Colorado. I had my business. I had my boys. And really, I had many friends just always saying to me, like, you're just set. Like, you've got it all. You guys are like lighthouses for the rest of us. And yet, what little nobody knew, including myself, is how actually disconnected from life I truly was. And so 10 years ago, I was like driving my car down the back roads of Colorado, luckily the back roads. And my higher self came in and said, Om 3 times. And at this point in my life, I was meditating regularly. I was meditating every day, but I didn't Om. I knew what it was, but it wasn't like part of my practice. But I was like, okay, higher self. So I took a nice deep breath, Om, all the way to the end. And I did that 3 times. And on that third breath, an energy shot from the base of my body through my center channel, out my crown, and I went into a full body orgasm. Ecstatic waves. I mean, lit AF. And at this point in my life, I had never experienced a full body orgasm in the bedroom. At this point in my life, 10 years ago, orgasm was still very challenging for me to experience, let alone driving my car down the road. So, I pulled over and I mean, I was just in waves of ecstasy and I had no idea what was happening to me. And it was, very electric, very alive. I was like laughing, like, wow, oh my God, this is incredible. And then it subsided. And, you know, I still didn't know what happened to me. And for 5 months, I went on this emotional roller coaster where all of my suppressed emotions came rip roaring out. And, one minute I would be laughing hysterically, the next minute I'd be crying on the floor in like a deep grief. The next minute, I would be raging, screaming and raging. And I asked my higher self, what is happening to me? Am I going crazy? Because it was borderline psychosis. And higher self said, breathe and allow. Was all I got. So I did. And after those 5 months, a book was given to me. I don't even remember how it happened, but it just came into my space. I wasn't looking for it. I didn't buy it. And it was called Kundalini Awakening. And the first chapter was about spontaneous Kundalini awakening. And what I realized through that experience was I believed that I was living a life of peace, but I was actually in control. I believed I was stable, but I was actually numb. I believed that I was living joy, but I was just so disconnected and suppressed. And it wasn't like that just shot me open and that was it. And I was just, full body orgasm from that point forward. I had to learn how to work with this energy. And it really brought me on 10 years. This happened, 10 years ago. This journey of understanding who I was before. Why was I like that? And as I was awakened and as I was turned back on to this aliveness in my body, I started to see how just women everywhere are much more shut down, suppressed, disconnected than we understand ourselves to be. And I really took it on as my journey to understand this in women, help them reawaken this energy, and also, what I had to learn, what the heck to do with it. Because, it feels all great being turned on, but this is our creative life force energy. This is the literal energy we use to create babies, and it's very potent and powerful. It's like working with fire. You have to have a level of respect. But if you know how to work with fire, you can, really do a lot of wonderful things with that frequency, with that energy. So, helping women to understand how to ignite this back into their bodies and, what's really holding them back, this shame about our bodies. There's a lot of that, right? There's a whole billion-dollar industry that feeds off of shame towards women and their bodies. Shame for being women, shame around being mothers, shame around sex, shame around power, shame around money, and helping women to transmute that shame that is the epitome of that numbness and that disconnection. And then again, like, okay, what do I do with this energy? And what do I really desire to create? Like, what really turns me on? Because that is what I call the song of our soul. It is the thing that is guiding us. It's like the beacon, it's like the lighthouse. You know, it's not necessarily the end result. What turns us on right now isn't necessarily, it's never the thing. It's not about the thing. It's about this is turning us on. Let's take action on that. And it guides us through the journey to ultimately what we're here to create. But it's fulfilling and it fucking feels good. And it's sensational.
It's beautiful. I mean, I don't think I have ever felt so alive since the moment I had also a Kundalini awakening. And I think I'm becoming more of a master every day the more I try it on. And it's a seduction of every day in my life.
Mm.
And it feels so. It feels so good, but at the same time, it feels so intimate that you have the desire to share with the world, but at the same time, you're living it first, allowing it to flow in, and then discovering your essence, and then allowing it to flow with others.
Yes, it truly is the flow state. When I think most people have experienced the flow state in some way or another. Some people experience it while they're working out and they kind of move through that wall and then they just feel like, oh my God, I have so much energy. I could just work out, seemingly endless. Or some people experience it through creativity where something just lands and oh my gosh, it's like so much energy is coming out. They're writing, they're creating, and where did the day go? Where did the hours go? Right? There's so many different ways that we can experience this flow state where you feel like you're locked in. You have this focus, you have this direction, and simultaneously you have all of this energy moving through you. And that's what this is. This is that flow state. It's understanding how to be in that flow state. And of course, like I said, where to direct it, how to utilize it.
Oh my God, that's so beautiful. I'm so happy I have you on board. How does suppressed emotions affect our ability to create wealth and call in aligned love?
What a great question. So it's energy that is blocking flow. And one of the things that I think most women need to hear is, PMS, heavy PMS syndrome symptoms, this intense, I'm perimenopausal right now, menopause and this very like horrible symptomatic experience. Those are not normal. And this is suppressed emotion. So every month, when women go through our cycles, there's a shedding that's trying to happen, a literal physical shedding, but also an emotional, a mental shedding. And when we don't understand this and we're hanging on to the emotion and the trauma or what it associates with what we identify with it as, we don't let it go. And so every month it gets basically like triggered. So that's why, women are so emotional. I haven't had like PMS for a very, very long time. And the women I've worked with, all of that goes away and all of their symptoms go away. They're very, very minor symptoms, like a little bit of cramping, but it's nothing extreme. So you can just think of all of those emotions, that energy. It's just sitting literally, your emotional body is governed by your womb. And your womb is the vessel that creates. So it's like you've stuffed a bunch of dirty socks. This is the symbolism that's coming through. You stuffed a bunch of dirty socks in your womb, and you're like, why am I not creating wealth? And why does everything stink?
That's so funny. Oh my gosh, I love that. And how would you define like the sacred love and relationship, and how would you attract it instead of chasing it? Because, oh my gosh, I remember, I had to being so many years into my masculine. I was on the go, 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 and I had the control and I had everything. I had a chase for everything. And I said once, I said, no, I'm done with this. And I believe I'm still working on it. And some days I just want to attack the, it's a combination of both. But how is that how you define the sacred love and relationship and how you attract it instead of chasing it?
Mm. Well, this is one of my favorite conversations because it's about magnetism. And again, this is about the womb. And it's interesting because even in spirituality, there's not a lot of conversation about the womb. There's a lot of conversation about the heart. And the heart is where our innate soul's desires come from. That desire to find that partner really comes from the heart. And when we connect to those desires that you feel in the heart, that you feel like, oh, I truly, truly desire that. When you are embodied in your womb and you don't have any dirty socks in there, your womb lights up in a
Mm,
yearning sensation. She yearns to fulfill the desire. She yearns to create it. And this yearning, the womb is the feminine, which is a negative polarity. Another misconception is the feminine is beingness. That's not true. Beingness is the child. Feminine is reciprocate.
mm,
Can't say that word. Receiving, right? She's a negative polarity. She draws in. So you don't have to chase after anything. You don't have to chase after the love of your life. You don't have to chase
mm,
after wealth. You don't have to chase after opportunities. You don't have to chase after clients. And, our world is like founded on chasing after because everybody is in the masculine frequency. The masculine energy is a penetrative energy, it goes out and penetrates, literally. That's how it creates. Life is sexual. And the feminine receives. She opens up, softens, and receives. But she can't receive if you don't know how to let go. She can't receive if you're in a state of control. She can't receive if those dirty socks in your womb are saying, it's not safe. Intimacy doesn't feel good to me. I don't know how to be intimate. I don't know how to be vulnerable. It feels unsafe to me, right? You're going to repel or you're going to attract other people who are also emotionally unavailable, who also don't really, it's like that push pull. I want intimacy, but that it feels unsafe. And you'll have these relationships over and over and over again. So it's about really releasing all that shame that I spoke about earlier and embodying the womb so that you can start to play with that magnetism. Because women out there, let me tell you, you are fucking magnetic. I mean, let's talk about when we see a woman who's, we talk about she's glowing because she's been, been with her partner in bed, right? Well, you don't need a partner. You don't need to be in bed. You just need to be connected to your arousal. You can be turned on. I get turned on all day long, nothing to do with my bedroom. But we talk about this like, oh, you see the woman, she's glowing, she's walking down the, street, she's strutting because she's feeling it. She's feeling her feminine power. She's in it, and it is so magnetic. We women are so powerful. We don't need to chase a thing. We just have to have clarity of what we desire. We have to learn how to love and open to the softness. We've been taught that softness isn't safe. We've been taught that softness is weak. But, just like your fist, if it's clenched and you hold this under water, no water can get into a clenched fist. You can't receive shit when you're tense and tight and you're not open. So we have to learn to love that. Yes, the feminine has to allow and soften and open up. That doesn't mean she's weak because she is insanely powerful when you truly meet her in yourself. And then we have to learn how to play with that arousal and be in it. A lot of us just hit orgasm, right? You just like talking about even the bedroom. It's just, you know, turn yourself on, hit the orgasm, done. And you're missing the whole point. The orgasm is just the peak, but the arousal is the
Magnetism.
thank you. I was going to say magnifying, magnetism. The arousal is what draws in. So when you want something, you play in that field, you turn yourself on, you think about that man or that partner and be in that frequency in your body. Can you hold that frequency in your body? Can you let yourself just be so turned on that you almost orgasm? And maybe you do, like I orgasm all the time. But I keep bringing myself back to that arousal because I know the power of that arousal. Before I launch a program, I sit in the frequency of that program. I just build it up. I build it up. I push it away. No, no, no. It's not ready for you yet. I don't want you yet. Orgasm, right? That's the launch of a program. You go away. I'm just going to I'm going to marinate it. I'm going to be in the frequencies. I'm going to turn myself on. That's how you create magnetism towards a program. So it's all the same.
It's beautiful. I love it. I love it. That's how I start like early mornings. I mean, sometimes I'm up by 4:30, 5:30 in the morning. And I'm like, self, what am I gonna talk about? And it's just all these thoughts and all these emotions and it's just flowing. It's so beautiful. Next thing you know, I have like a content for all day long of
Yeah.
how love transforms me, how love healed me, how love makes me money, how love attracts people, how I don't know, because I'm just embodying love more and more, deeper, deeper, and how to penetrate love. Love yourself more, and the more you love yourself, and it's all aligned. It's all aligned, and the sensuality that you hold as a woman is just a beautiful thing. And we were taught not to say anything. Oh my God, what will people think? And
Hmm.
in reality, it's such a beautiful thing to have that portal of oneness and wellness. And that brings me to this question, because you being the oracle of wealth, how do you define true wealth beyond money?
Hmm. To me, it's definitely the flow state. It's ecstatic creation. So just as you said, when you wake up, and it's that we're not creating alone. We're creating with source, with God, with mother, with father, with, whatever you want to call it. And when I'm just deeply connected to that, there's this bigger picture, right? It's not about, what I need today or who I am. It's like, what are we here to change in the world? What are we here to birth into the world? And again, when you are in that deep communion, in that flow state, there is, for one, there's again so much sensation, right? You're really turned on. It feels really fulfilling. You feel like you're creating a difference. There's a purpose. There's a bigger picture, and it it is also so fulfilling it's never about the end thing. It's ironic because you have a goal and you have all these visions, but it's really about the moment and extracting the juiciness out of this moment. And for me, everything slows way down. I believe that the new era of wealth is spaciousness. We've been wearing these badges of I'm so busy and therefore I'm successful. Fuck that. I'm so spacious and therefore I'm successful. I have massive gaps between my clients. I have days and weeks that I take off and I just go out into Mother Gaia. I do what I want to do, what turns me on, what lights me up. I have cycles and rhythms and I live that way because then I stay in that communion with creation. So, those pauses where it's just that connecting back in and feeling my body and dancing and, laughing and being connected to all of that. And then from those energies, from that joy, creating. And you're doing that over and over and over again. And you cannot do that and not attract money, opportunity, success. You just can't. It's not possible.
Oh,
So all of that becomes the beautiful cherry on the top. But again, it doesn't even matter because it's not about all of that. It's about this beautiful communion with life.
and see, that's the thing. And then we were thought that we had to receive that from us as women from the man. In reality, you don't need a man. A man will fulfill that, and you could co-create together. But if women learn how to embody this amazing energy and to allow herself to seduce herself deeper and more, when a man comes into her life, or even if she already has a man in her life, it just becomes a firework of explosion.
It
It's
does.
beautiful. It does. It does. And it feels amazing. It feels different. I love it. I could continue talking about this all day. Where can people find you?
AlaraSage.com is my website, and I'm on, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, Alara Sage.
What are there any offers, any special groups, any currently freebies, anything that you're currently offering that people could actually reach out to you for?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Wealth Kink Quiz is a really great quiz to recognize your innate state of flow. There's 5 blueprints of how we can easily connect to the flow state. And my clients love it. It's transformed so many people just through this information. And so that's free and they get immediate information about what really ignites them and how to be in that rhythm for themselves.
I took it. I did. I took it. And then
Well,
it gives you from like which one is your dominant and which one is your less dominant, which is amazing. And you flow with it. You could create messaging with it. You could actually
yeah.
flow within your body. It's beautiful. So if you have not taken this quiz, I suggest you do. And now you know where to contact Alara Sage. And also, I want to ask you another question because the world needs more of this, of course. I cannot stress this enough. If the whole world, let's say for instance, could hear your heart right
Hmm.
now, and what desire will you whisper to wake them up in their own power?
Mm. Pursue what ignites you.
Yes.
It's
I
so
love
simple.
that. I love that. I love that. Everyone, if you have any questions, thank you so much for watching. You could still comment below any questions. You could reach out to Alara Sage if you want to know more. And yes, connect with her, her community. I have had sessions with her. She's amazing, amazing. And it's always a pleasure bringing amazing people here. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm like really, really fascinated. I'm like, I danced this morning, make sure that I was seduced enough to interview you.
Love it.
And so
Preparation.
yes, of course. I gotta prepare myself. And so, yes, it's fascinating to have amazing women like you here in my space. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. And for the ones that don't know me, my name is Blanca Angelica Rivera. They know me by Blangelika. That's my stage name. And I just come here to help people with visibility, healing, transformation, digital marketing, you name it. We have it all. You could join me at Cafe Latte Your Love, where women get together and we have conversations. It's a virtual coffee chat. Just come and join. It's totally free. And I just love having ourselves just to talk about conversations like this. And it's so important for us to just move forward. Life is a game. Let's come and play. Thank you for being here.